Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
An absolutely tragic scene tonight in Inkster as a small child is found stabbed to death inside a home.
The child's mother nowhere to be found. Let's get right to Jason Colthorpe live on Lehigh Street with the very latest. Jason.
Karen, I want you to take a look at this scene, which is quite involved, active, and growing, as a matter of fact. A cadaver dog that's been out has pushed those of us in the media across the street as they've investigated further. The house in question is a little further down on Lehigh. That's where earlier today, it's on the left, it's a white house. Earlier today, police discovered the body of a 3-year-old boy that had been stabbed to death. His mother is missing. I've talked to family members who are asking us to reach out to her tonight, asking her to call them. They've been trying to get a hold of her. We're told for days, so police are not saying exactly when this happened, but family members believe it may have even happened as far back as last week. One family member even through her sobs said she couldn't believe she would do this. But right now all we know is a 3-year-old boy has been stabbed to death. His mother is missing. Police looking for her tonight. And I want to let you hear from the assistant chief who spoke to us just a short while ago with this update.
Family members have indicated that the mother is unaccounted for at this time. You realize that this is a situation where you're going to come across things that are unsettling or jarring, but particularly involving children. It's just absolutely unbelievable and something that I don't wish on anybody to have to see. It's a terrible thing to have to deal with.
And again, family members have told me they have been unable to reach the boy's mother. We also don't know if they were the only two that lived in this house. Police wouldn't talk about that right now. They would also not comment officially on the mother's mental state, but police sources say she may have had a history of mental problems. But again, she is missing. They're looking for her as they try to work this scene now. And a cadaver dog again just going all over this area as they try to figure out how this or why this 3-year-old boy was killed. Live in Inkster, Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
Just horrendous. All right, Jason. Now to the latest on the coronavirus and Michigan's response to it.
The state is reporting that 71 more people have died from COVID-19. There have been 657 new cases, pushing Michigan past the 45,000 mark. Just as they said they would, Republican leaders in the state legislature have filed a lawsuit against Governor Gretchen Whitmer, claiming she has overreached by making decisions without them and refusing to negotiate on pulling back restrictions more quickly. The governor's office put out a statement saying she won't be distracted by what it calls another partisan game.
Some good news to report. The field hospital inside the TCF Center in downtown Detroit just has one patient right now. Operations there will soon be paused, though the mayor points out there is the possibility of starting it up again if it's needed.
Research into COVID-19 is evolving by the day, and our Dr. McGeorge is constantly reviewing new studies that shape our understanding.
Today, the doctor's in with 3 new reports that are giving us more insight into how long the virus may have been spreading and how it may be mutating. Frank?
Yeah, Karen and Devin, you might remember 2 weeks ago, I told you about a report from California that found the SARS-CoV-2 virus in a woman who had died there on February 6th, meaning there was probably spread in the U.S. much earlier than anyone was aware. At least mid-January we're talking. Well, France now has that beat.
Researchers from a hospital near Paris looked back at people hospitalized in December of 2019 and early January 2020, looking for patients with symptoms and CAT scan findings that were consistent with COVID-19. Remember, back then no one had any test for COVID-19 and no one thought it had gone beyond China. They identified a 42-year-old man with findings consistent with COVID-19 who was admitted on December 27th with 4 days of symptoms. The frozen samples taken at that time were retested and they were positive for SARS-CoV-2. Now this man had no history of travel, and that suggests SARS-CoV-2 was in the Paris area at least 4 days before the first announcement of the virus in Wuhan, China on December 31st. Now, on the topic of how long SARS-CoV-2 might have been around, a new study from the UK that looked at natural mutations in the virus found the virus may have been circulating as early as October of 2019, although that time frame is based on modeling estimates and only provides a hint of when the virus entered circulation, not proof. The paper also identified nearly 200 recurrent mutations that the researchers believe are helping the virus evolve and adapt to infecting humans.
Yeah, now finally, I want to mention a third study that has been widely reported but has not been peer-reviewed and is very preliminary. The paper actually suggests that mutations in the spike protein, which is critical for the virus to invade human cells, might be making it more infectious and might cause difficulty creating a vaccine. I want to emphasize, though, these conclusions are just food for thought. They are based on mathematical assumptions only, and frankly, some of the media attention that was given to that study is probably premature.
Always appreciate your perspective, Doc. By the way, why is it important for researchers to figure out if the spread may have occurred earlier than previously thought?
Well, you know, Karen, it changes many of the assumptions that went into the models that we're using to predict future spread of the virus. And second, understanding fully what happened this time can frankly help us be better prepared if it ever happens again, which of course we hope never will. But that's kind of the reason. Back to you.
Makes sense. We appreciate it. Thank you, Doc.
Well, it's becoming clearer tonight the automotive industry is in the throes of restarting their idled operations. General Motors today saying it intends to reopen its plants later this month. Same goes for Fiat Chrysler. Business Editor Rod Maloney live tonight with the latest big developments here, Rod.
Yeah, Devin, well, let's talk first about General Motors and the fact that unlike FCA and Ford, it made money in the first quarter. It was a small amount by industry standards, but it wasn't a $2 billion loss like the other two had. In the meantime, General Motors and Mary Barra, the CEO, are telling us when they want to be open.
We are targeting to restart the majority of our manufacturing operations in the U.S. and Canada the week of May 18th under extensive safety measures.
Local 4 got a first-hand look about a week and a half ago inside the Warren transmission plant of what this is all going to look like. There, UAW and company volunteers have been churning out face masks for hospitals all over the state. Here, employees wear face masks and sometimes shields. Line workers won't be in these white suits, but they will work staggered shifts, have social distancing enforced, and frequent disinfecting is promised at each workstation. Barra claims what they learned here in this process is paying off.
Where our coronavirus safety protocols have been in place, we have not seen a confirmed case of community spread in our facilities.
Of course, the industry's already warning the second quarter is likely to come with very heavy losses, and that has our congressional delegation's attention. Representative Debbie Dingell says American manufacturing, led by the auto industry, may need more government help to ensure job security going forward.
Washington has this tendency to forget the Midwest in manufacturing, period. And I don't know anybody who's asking for a handout. I think that people are concerned. The liquidity of the supplier community is clearly an issue.
And so the Congresswoman is shopping a letter all around Washington, D.C. with some of the other members of the delegation, trying to alert people to the fact that it could easily be worse than the original downturn back in 2009 and that the government may need to intervene. The hope, of course, is that they can get going and get up and selling again, that may not be necessary, but they want to be ready. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Rod. From cars to planes, the next time you fly, things will look much different. Delta, JetBlue, and Southwest are rolling out new rules in an effort to keep you safe from COVID-19 in the sky. Our consumer investigator Hank Winchester is live this evening. And Hank, the airlines are thinking safety first, but this could also cause some really big lines and delays.
Yeah, Karen, it certainly could. You know, the CEO of Southwest Airlines encouraging TSA to take more action that could actually cause longer lines there as you're going through security. The goal here, at least through Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, they say it is clear. They are working to keep their employees and the consumer safe. Delta Airlines, which serves the majority of passengers coming in and out of Metro, sending out this email to customers. Here are some of the new rules that are being put in place, all in an effort to keep you and Delta employees safe. First off, everyone will be required to wear a mask. That includes the crew and all passengers. If you don't own a mask, Delta will provide one. They will be required at check-in counters, Delta Sky Clubs, jet bridges, and on the plane itself. Seating capacity has now been reduced. In first class, it's been cut by 50%. The main cabin, 60%. You may notice middle seats will be kept open to provide you with more space from the person in your row. All planes are being sanitized before takeoff, and high-touch areas are getting extra attention. It's not just Delta. Southwest, which also has a presence at Metro, is requiring face masks for employees and passengers. They're using HEPA air filters on board to circulate air in the cabin. The airline has also suspended all beverage service on board. The CEO of Southwest encouraging the TSA to take more action, saying, "We're urging the TSA to begin temperature scans as part of the screening process at checkpoints. While this may cause longer lines, safety of the flying public must be the top priority." Back out here live, the TSA has already gotten the message, releasing a statement today saying that they are working with medical teams and also with airports across the country to get an idea of how this would work moving forward if, in fact, a decision is made that they would be taking the temperature of passengers as they make their way through security. As of right now, no decision. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, back to you.
All right, Hank. A lot of people have been financially, of course, blindsided by the pandemic, Karen.
Yesterday, we introduced you to a local couple unable to pay their rent and facing possible eviction. Some generous Metro Detroiters were watching, giving Victor Williams the chance to bring us this uplifting update.
Well, if you saw this story yesterday, you'd know that this man was at the end of his rope. He had nowhere to go for him or his family. But thanks to a few strangers reaching out, it looks like his situation is going to be turning around.
Yesterday, there was really no light.
That was the mindset of Marty Parks and his wife Shira just 24 hours ago. But finally, he can now see that light at the end of the tunnel once again.
Turned out good. A lot of people been reaching out. A lot of people been helping.
After the story aired, multiple people reached out from all over the country looking to help Marty, his wife, and their 3 kids.
They're from Detroit.
Right.
But they just been reaching out and trying to help.
But the question remains, why would Marty's landlord make eviction threats when there's an executive order preventing them? According to lawyer Todd Russell Perkins, none of this was supposed to happen.
Evictions of individuals from either rental property or mobile homes is suspended until at the earliest May 15th right now.
With that being said, Marty is looking into taking legal action, but wants to give his landlord the chance to redeem himself.
See if you want to make it right, but if not, then, you know, it's time to move forward. Help each other as much as possible, especially during this coronavirus epidemic.
And Marty tells me that once he's able to get back on his feet, he's hoping to pay it forward and help people who are in his situation. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Yeah, we were pretty sure people would come through, and they did once again.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Today's been pretty nice outside, so we're going to let Ben back into the newscast for a little while. We'll see how this goes, Ben.
Yeah, this may be it for me, though, because the good stuff's about to run out. We're going to be looking at a much colder weekend just ahead.
All right, thank you, Ben. And today is National Nurses Day, kicking off Nurses Appreciation Week.
We would need far more than a week, I think, to show our appreciation. But here are some of the hardworking Metro Detroit nurses who very much deserve our thanks.